Torah tells us in Parshas Vayera by Makos Dam that almost the entire Egypt is basically drowning in blood. Everybody's complaining, everybody's crying, all the Egyptians are begging Paro to speak to Moshe to try to get all of this blood away and bring back the water. Torah tells us that Moshe and Paro finally have a conversation, and Paro doesn't listen. And he turns and he walks back to his house, and he doesn't listen to anything that Moshe asks him to do. And the Mefarshim ask, why does it tell us that Paro goes back to his house? Why is that a relevant piece in this story? Who cares? What's the difference? Obviously, he went home, but why is that an integral part of this process? Says the Meshech Chochmah, a beautiful idea, which really highlights the contrast between Moshe and Paro. Meshech Chochmah says that the reason why Paro was able to block out all of his people that were crying, complaining, that were dying, the reason why he was able to just go back to his house was because Paro had a special zchus, he had a special merit, in that because he raised Moshe, because he housed Moshe as Moshe was growing up, God allowed his house to stay free from blood. There was no dam, there was no blood inside Paro's house. He had regular running water. So in Paro's own house, he was fine. Everything was the same as it always was, and therefore he wasn't interested in what was going on with all of his people. He was able to totally compartmentalize, totally separate what was happening to the rest of his people since it wasn't affecting his own house. Moshe, on the other hand, even though Moshe was unaffected by all the slavery of Klal Yisrael at the time, he went out of his house. He left because he couldn't stay inside of his house. He needed to feel the pain of everybody else. And that was really what made Moshe the greatest leader of all time. Is because he looked for ways to get involved and to feel, to empathize with other people, even though it didn't necessarily affect him personally. I think that this contrast between Moshe and between Paro not only is integral, but it also highlights the amazing difference between what it means to be a leader, what it means to lead other people and to really feel for other people. In order to have that type of impact, in order to be respected amongst your community, you have to be willing to step outside your house. And even though there might be certain issues that don't affect you personally, that might not, they might not come inside of our houses. It's our job to look beyond our comfort zone to see what other people are struggling with and to see how we can help them. Have an amazing Shabbos.